Imagine a creature so powerful it can bite down with more force than a T-Rex. So adaptable, it survives in both freshwater and the open ocean. So terrifying, it's responsible for hundreds of human deaths every year. And here's the kicker: it can grow over 20 feet long and weigh more than a small car. This isn't some prehistoric monster. It's alive today. It's patrolling coastlines from India to Australia right now, and it's the undisputed king of the water. Today, we're diving into the insane biology of the saltwater crocodile, the largest, most dangerous reptile on Earth. Let's get into it. The saltwater crocodile, or salty as Australians call it, is an absolute unit of nature. We're talking about an apex predator that has barely changed in millions of years because it's already basically perfect at what it does: killing. These monsters live across a massive range, from eastern India all the way to northern Australia, covering Southeast Asia and Papua New Guinea. They hang out in estuaries, mangroves, tidal rivers. And here's where it gets crazy: they also venture into the open ocean. That's right. While most crocodiles stick to fresh water, salties are oceanic travelers. They've been spotted miles offshore, riding currents between islands like they're on a cruise. But size, range, and ocean-crossing abilities are just the beginning. The biology of this creature is absolutely mind-blowing.
Let's talk about how big these things actually get. Male saltwater crocodiles typically reach 13 to 16 feet long. That's about the length of a pickup truck. But the truly massive ones? They can hit 20 feet or more. Whew. We're talking about animals that weigh between 880 and 2,200 pounds. That's heavier than a grand piano. Females are smaller, around 7 to 10 feet, but don't let that fool you. Even a small saltwater crocodile is a lethal predator. Now, what makes them so dangerous isn't just their size, it's their build. These crocs have a broad, heavy head, a massively powerful tail, and thick, armor-like skin called osteoderms. Those bony plates act like built-in body armor. You can't stab through it. You can't shoot through it easily. It's natural tank plating. Their color? Dark olive or gray on top, pale underneath. Juveniles have more banding patterns, but as they grow, they turn into these shadowy, almost invisible killers, lurking just below the water's surface. And here's the most insane stat: their bite force is among the strongest ever measured in any living animal. We're talking orders of magnitude stronger than lions, tigers, or bears. When a salty clamps down, you're not getting away. Period. Here's where the saltwater crocodile separates itself from almost every other crocodilian on the planet. Most crocodiles and alligators are freshwater animals. They can't handle salt water for long because the salt messes up their internal chemistry. But salties? They thrive in it. How? They have specialized salt glands on their tongues. These glands actively pump out excess salt from their bodies, letting them live in brackish estuaries, coastal wetlands, and even the open sea. This adaptation is a game changer. It means they're not limited to rivers or lakes. They can patrol coastlines, swim between islands, and colonize new river systems by traveling along the coast. They're not stuck in one place. They're mobile apex predators. Scientists have tracked salties traveling over 300 miles through open ocean. They ride ocean currents like highways, hopping from one river system to another. It's like they have their own GPS for conquering new territory. And because they can handle both saltwater and freshwater, they dominate two completely different ecosystems. They're the kings of rivers and the kings of coastal waters. No other large predator on Earth does that. All right, so we know they're massive and they can swim in the ocean. But how do they hunt? Saltwater crocodiles are ambush predators. They use stealth, patience, and explosive power. Here's how it works. First, they stay almost completely submerged, just their eyes and nostrils above the water. You wouldn't even know they're there. They can stay like this for hours, waiting for prey to come close. Their diet is insane. They eat fish, crustaceans, birds, reptiles, turtles, wild pigs, deer, water buffalo, and occasionally, sharks. Yeah, you heard that right, sharks. A saltwater crocodile will absolutely take down a bull shark if it gets the chance. And they don't just eat small animals. These crocs are capable of ambushing very large prey at the water's edge. Water buffalo weighing over 1,000 pounds? No problem. They'll drag it underwater and drown it. Here's their attack strategy. Step 1. Stealth approach from below. They move through the water with barely a ripple. Step 2. Explosive lunge. When prey gets close enough, they launch out of the water with shocking speed. This attack happens in a fraction of a second. Step 3. The death roll. Once they've clamped down, they spin their entire body like a torpedo. This tears chunks of meat off prey and disorients it completely. It's brutal, but incredibly effective. Step 4. Swallow large chunks whole. Crocodiles can't chew. They tear off huge pieces and swallow them. Their stomach acid is so strong it can dissolve bones, horns, and shells. And get this, they're mostly nocturnal hunters. They do most of their killing at dawn and dusk when prey is less alert. During the day, they bask in the sun to warm up their cold-blooded bodies. But they're not just mindless eating machines. Saltwater crocodiles are smart. They learn. They remember patterns. They know when tides come in and out. They recognize predictable food sources. Some crocs have even been observed using tools, balancing sticks on their snouts to lure nest-building birds. That's problem-solving behavior. That's intelligence. So how do these monsters make more monsters? Breeding season varies depending on location, but it's usually tied to monsoons or the wet season. In northern Australia, it happens from late dry season to early wet season. Female salties build massive nests out of vegetation. These nests are mounds, sometimes several feet tall, built above the high tide line in mangroves or along riverbanks. She lays around 40 to 60 eggs, though some clutches can have up to 80. Now here's something wild. The temperature of the nest determines the sex of the babies. Warmer nests produce more males. Cooler nests produce more females. This is called temperature-dependent sex determination, and it means climate change could seriously mess with crocodile populations in the future. Incubation takes about 80 to 90 days. The whole time, mom is guarding that nest. She doesn't eat much. She just sits there, ready to attack anything that gets close. When the babies are ready to hatch, they start chirping inside the eggs. Mom hears this and digs them out. Then, and this is surprisingly gentle for such a brutal predator, she carefully carries the hatchlings in her mouth to the water. She protects them for weeks, sometimes months, in nursery areas. But even with all that protection, most hatchlings don't survive. They're eaten by birds, fish, lizards, and even other crocodiles. Only a small percentage make it to adulthood. If they do survive, they can live for 60 to 70 years. Some individuals have been estimated to live over 80 years. That means a crocodile alive today could have been born before World War II. Let's talk about the crazy physical abilities that make salties such perfect predators. First, their bite force. We mentioned it earlier, but let's put it in perspective. A saltwater crocodile's bite has been measured at over 3,700 pounds per square inch. For comparison, a lion's bite is around 650 psi. A great white shark? About 4,000 psi. Salties are right up there with the most powerful biters on Earth. But it's not just about clamping down. Their jaw muscles are optimized for closing, not opening. You could hold a crocodile's mouth shut with duct tape, and it wouldn't be able to open it. But once it's closed, good luck prying it open. Their tail is a weapon and a propulsion system. It's pure muscle. They use it to swim with incredible speed and agility underwater. On land, they can do a high walk, where they lift their bodies off the ground and move surprisingly fast, especially near water where they have the advantage. Their senses are top tier. They have acute hearing and vision, especially at night. But here's the coolest part. They have pressure-sensitive pits along their jaws. These pits detect tiny vibrations in the water. A fish swimming 10 feet away? They feel it. A person wading into the water 50 feet away? They feel that too. This makes them nearly impossible to sneak up on. They know you're there long before you know they're there. And because they're ectothermic, cold-blooded, they don't need to eat nearly as often as warm-blooded predators. They can go weeks, even months without food. This makes them incredibly efficient survivors. Here's something most people don't realize. Saltwater crocodiles are not dumb animals. They show sight fidelity, meaning they remember places and return to them. They time their movements with tides. They recognize predictable food sources, like fishing spots where people clean fish. They learn from experience. Socially, they're not pack animals, but they do tolerate each other in certain situations. At rich feeding spots, you might see multiple crocs in the same area. But there's always a hierarchy. Big males dominate. Smaller crocs and females stay inside creeks and upper river reaches to avoid conflict. Large males are highly territorial. They defend prime stretches of estuaries and river mouths. If another big male enters, there's a fight. These battles can be brutal. Crocs have been found with missing limbs, massive scars, and broken jaws from these dominance fights. Let's address the elephant in the room. Are saltwater crocodiles dangerous to humans? Yes, absolutely yes. Salties are responsible for hundreds of attacks on humans every year, particularly in Southeast Asia and Northern Australia. They're the largest living crocodilian and an apex predator. To them, humans are just another potential meal. Attacks usually happen because of a few key factors: people fishing near the water's edge, livestock watering at rivers, tourism near nesting sites, illegal feeding, which makes crocs associate humans with food. Here's the thing. Crocodiles don't hunt humans specifically, but they're opportunistic. If you're in their territory and you look like prey, they'll take the shot. So how do you stay safe? Rule 1. Assume any brackish or estuarine water in crocodile territory has crocodiles, even if you don't see them. Rule 2. Stay well back from the water's edge. Don't wade in. Don't dangle your legs off a dock. Don't wash your hands in the river. Rule 3. Avoid dawn and dusk. That's when crocs are most active. Rule 4. Never clean fish or discard food scraps near water. That attracts crocs. Rule 5. Obey local signage. If there's a warning sign, believe it. Rule 6. Keep dogs and kids away from the shoreline. Dogs splashing in water sound like prey to a crocodile. Rule 7. Never, ever approach a basking or nesting crocodile. Females guarding nests are extremely aggressive. Follow these rules, and your chances of a croc encounter drop dramatically. Now, here's some good news. Saltwater crocodile populations are actually doing pretty well overall. They're listed as least concern by the IUCN, thanks to strong conservation efforts. But it wasn't always this way. In the mid-20th century, salties were hunted almost to extinction for their skins. Crocodile leather was huge in the fashion industry, and hunters killed tens of thousands of crocs across Asia and Australia. By the 1970s, populations had crashed. That's when governments stepped in. Hunting bans were put in place. Protected areas were established. Sustainable egg harvesting and ranching programs were created in places like Northern Australia. And it worked. Populations rebounded dramatically. Today, Northern Australia has one of the healthiest saltwater crocodile populations in the world. But threats still exist. Illegal killing, habitat loss, especially mangrove destruction, Entanglement in fishing gear and conflict killings all put pressure on crocodile populations in some regions. The key to long-term survival? Community education. Teaching people how to live alongside crocodiles safely, respecting their territory, understanding that they're a vital part of the ecosystem. Because here's the truth. Saltwater crocodiles are apex predators. They keep ecosystems balanced. They control prey populations. They shape the environment. Without them, entire coastal ecosystems would collapse. So there you have it, the saltwater crocodile, a monster that rules two worlds, land and sea, a predator with the strongest bite force on the planet, a survivor that's been perfecting its craft for millions of years, a creature so intelligent it uses tools and learns from experience, and a conservation success story that shows what humans can achieve when we decide to protect nature instead of destroy it. These crocs are living dinosaurs. They're reminders that we share this planet with creatures far older, far stronger, and far more adapted than we'll ever be. And honestly, that's pretty incredible. If you found this video fascinating, hit that like button and subscribe for more deep dives into the wildest creatures on Earth. Drop a comment and let me know, would you ever swim in crocodile-infested waters? Or are you smart enough to stay on dry land? Thanks for watching. Stay curious, stay safe, and remember, nature is insane. See you in the next one.